こんにちは、私は文です。デザイナーとシェフをやっています。よろしくお願いします。So today I'd like to share the story of Silo, where I used to work for 4 years, and how that experience shaped my thought of sustainability. And I began my career as a graphic designer, and so before moving into the food design industry. And there I witnessed a lot of waste, the amount of the waste, and then so that I was inspired by the philosophy of Silo. And then I made an unexpected career change into the kitchen without any trained culinary experience. So Silo is deeply rooted in the philosophy of zero waste, with the support of the community, the support of the system where the community contributes their knowledge and commitment, and then expressed in the menu that is a pure expression of natural farming and the closed loop cooking. So initially, Silo was born in Melbourne in 2010 with the idea of a restaurant without a bin, inspired by the artist Joost Becker. And then 2014, it was moved to Brighton, and then finally in 2019, Douglas McMaster relocated the restaurant in Hackney, which is far in East London. It was full of factory and the main hub of industrialism. And now it's the core of all the creatives around the local area. And he started this restaurant with the idea of there is no bin in jungle, and tried to build a system to eliminate the bin, and then realize this idea with artistic language, with the taste of the nature. And here we are looking at the dining room. It was designed by the interior designer Nina, who was the core member of this beginning period. And it used to be an old cocoa roastery factory. And she decided to keep some existing structure of the place, which is the ceiling. You can see the sheep's wool insulation and some door and window frame. And as you can see, the floor is it's made of all the corks, which were harvested by hands from the bark of the cork tree, so without harming the tree itself. Then you can see the counter. So here the countertops are made of all the polyester plastic packagings, and then the front of the counter is formed of recycled leather. The image is flipped, but I will explain it anyway. So you can see on the right is the tabletop. We sourced the table panel from Smile Plastic, which is based in Wales, the west side of England. So what they do is collect all the recycled plastics to make the beautiful panel, and then share with architects and designers. And on the left side, it's a lampshade. It's made of mycelium, so it's fully biodegradable. And as soon as you enter the restaurant, we welcome the guests from this stand. So as you can see, it's the stand that made from all the offcut from a timber that was otherwise it would have been generated as a waste. And then even from this waiter section, we also sourced the hardwood from local area and also we worked with craftsmen based in London. And I would like to highlight the importance of community. The reason why we could realize all this philosophy and the idea was thanks to the people in our community, including the farmers and designers, chefs and collaborators, forager and creatives, and including our guests and the staff. And I would like to ask a question, if you could imagine what it is. So this is the view of a lampshade, and I would like to introduce our beloved friend and also in-house porter, who is Mark. So what we built in the restaurant was the system, and then the first move was about how can we use up all the waste wine bottles. So we started sorting those into two colors, transparent bottles and the green bottles, and then we tried to crush them into glass powder. And the legendary Mark started putting them into a mold, and then we tried so many different prototypes to make plates made out of glass powder, which is durable to use in the restaurant. And in our community, it is so important to have the supply chain who shares the same philosophy and who are willing to support our idea. And I would like to mention Holy Smith Dairy, based in Dorset. And since at Silo we make our own butter, it was very important to source a very good quality of cream. And Holy Smith was one of the only dairy supplier who were willing to deliver the dairy products in reusable containers. And then we could visit the farm, and yeah, definitely they were the core member of our supply chain. And also farmers are our good friends, and it was super important for us to communicate closely with them so that we have more understanding of the seasonal change and sharing what is the good seasonal produces at the moment. And by doing that, we could develop our own menu following the beauty of the nature. And here we are looking at a guy who is called Andy. He is one of our good friends who is based in Brighton, and the forager as an artist. And he used to bring all the fresh produces from the coast or sometimes in the forest and bring those to us every Tuesday so that we could use them for our new menu, something like snack, including mushrooms or some sea vegetables and herbs, and also some invasive species around the area. And this is quite an interesting example of closed loop system. They are a community called Rainbow Charter, and it's kind of creative community that are focused on trade and water and the local area. So they travel around the world, especially Colombia, France and Portugal, and then visit the farmers and the small family and bring those amazing produces like panela sugar or almonds, beans, rice to us. And in our system, it's sometimes not just about the food, but also the products that we need at Silo. So for example, including soap or detergent, washing liquid, descaler, sanitizer, and everything. We try to make it reusable so that it doesn't create any plastic waste. So it's the company called Phil, owned by Phil. And whenever we use all the products, we try to rotate the containers regularly so that they collect the containers and then bring them back with any products that we need. And in our community, it's not only about the people in the same space. Sometimes the people from other countries or culture, but share the same ethos and philosophy. So what we were trying to do was how can we make the restaurant more energetic, and how can we use the space when we don't have any service, like Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. And what we were doing was inviting other creatives or guest chefs and then bring different energy and create new menu. So this was a community called Wasted, and then they make pasta out of bread waste. So we used the pasta to create just a bowl of pasta, and then using Silo ferments to do a pop-up and bring more guests into the restaurant. And one more person I would like to introduce is Tim from Clermont Knife. And he used to collect all the plastics to recycle to make the handle of the knives, and also kind of forage the canister, which is this metal thing that was used for many different purposes. And in East London you could find a lot on the street. So he started collecting those and then made blades out of those. And then we used to give this knife as a gift to our beloved staff. And this is a block of plastic, which was, we call it alien waste. All the plastic waste that came to the restaurant by mistake, and we call it human error. So this block is made of 18 months of worth of all the waste material. Then Tim turned that into a cube, and we put that on the host stand so that everyone can just remind themselves what we brought to this place, and so that we don't do that anymore. And now we are moving to the part of closed loop cooking, when we were being challenged the most, and also when we can be creative the most. And normally we start this process with questioning ourselves. What can we make something from the scratch? What kind of byproduct is generated by the process? And what could we do with the byproduct? Can we ferment or make sauce? Or can we use that for other dishes? And is there any ferments that are ready to use right now instead of making new products? And what's the seasonal produces? And how is the seasonal produce sourced to our place? And what's the trade process? And all in all, in the end, does it tasty? And here we have the first dish of the course, which is quaver. It's the snack and the most sustainable dish, I want to say. And the key ingredients are goat cheese and vegetable. So it's a layer of 3 different components, a cracker and vegetable treacle and frozen goat cheese. So I would like to explain why this dish is so sustainable. So as you can see, the frozen goat cheese, when we grate it, we collect all the scraps and then keep it in the freezer to make dairy garum. Garum, which is ancient Roman way of making fish sauce. But then instead of using fish, we use all the proteins, and then the main ingredients was the goat cheese. And when we have about 60 kilos of frozen goat cheese scraps in the freezer, then it's time to make dairy garum and empty the fridge. So we also produce our own koji in the restaurant. So by using the koji fermentation, we could make a lot of different ferments, and the main ferment was the dairy garum. And by doing that, we could use the solid of the garum to make the cracker, and the liquid we used for seasoning other dishes. Then here we have how we make vegetable treacle, which was layered on top of the cracker. So all the vegetable scraps that we produce every week, we put in an equipment called wrappan and then fill up with water to make vegetable stock. And just by doing that, we could make the best of vegetable scraps, and then by reducing it with sugar, we could get the caramel texture liquid, which is full of flavor from the vegetable itself. And here we are looking at the wall of koji, which is more than 10 different flavors of ferments that we made in Silo. It's including, the ingredients are including any kind of proteins like egg white or meat trims, fish trims, or pumpkins, burnt skin of the vegetable, and then by using koji we could create an incredible flavor out of this. And the next dish is sea bass, and we are often asked if we are a vegetarian or vegan restaurant, but we are not. We use fish and also meat and support our local supply chain. And the important thing in this dish is how can we close the loop? So using the fish from ethically sourced suppliers, and being really selective about what we are buying. So only hook and line caught fish, or hand dived scallops, or day boat seafood. So that was our priority when we were choosing what kind of seafood we want to put on the menu. So when we prepped the fish, we kept the fish skin and the fish bone to smoke, and then made smoked fish garum out of those. So by doing that, we could close the loop. And here we have another dish, and I used to pick this as my favorite dish because it is the most perfect closed loop dish, I would say. And one of the majority of surplus ingredients at Silo was bread. Since we bake bread every day, we had to come up with a solution. How can we use up all this bread? So the pasta dough, the outside of dumpling, the dough itself was made of bread waste, and the inside we put bread exo, which is full of flavor with different spices. So we cook out all the bread and then in oil, and put a lot of garlics and onions for flavor and season with the ferments that we have to create the dish full of bread. And this is another example of how we use foraged food, and also an example of invasive species. So around Hackney, East London area, there are full of Japanese knotweed along the canal, and since it's known as invasive species, instead of just getting rid of them, we try to use them by just eating them. So including dog and the friend Andy, we were foraging all the Japanese knotweeds every week, and then put it on the menu with other seasonal produces like asparagus and also elderflowers, and miso, which was made in Silo, and elderflower vinegar, which was also made in house. And here, to finish the closed loop cooking, I want to mention the last course of the meal, which is ice cream sandwich. Since we mill flour in-house, we could get the byproduct, which is bran. So we make biscuits out of bran, and the ice cream was made from buttermilk, which was the byproduct from the butter making production. And on top, we finished with the caramel made of all the bread waste, so which was Marmite, kind of yeasty, very savory, kind of funky, sweet caramel.
でこれを出すときに、レストランでまず最初にお出しするのがパンとバターで、お客様にこのデザートを出すときに、じゃあパンとバターから始まり、パンとバターで終わりますっていう風にして出すと、お客様としてはそういう風にループがつながっていたんだなっていうところで、すごい喜ばれるっていうことを、彼女が言ってました。
And this is a picture of our fridge. I want to finish the closed loop cooking with this part, because whenever we were designing new menu, sometimes it's quite an easy answer to look at what we already have, like what kind of produces we have and what kind of ferments we already have. And just by looking at them closely and so the answer was in our system. That's what I wanted to highlight. And before finishing the presentation, I would like to go back to the community and highlight the stuff that we work together and spend time the most. And everyone came to the restaurant had different motivation. Someone was really passionate about fermentation. Someone just enjoyed minimal lifestyle. And the other would have different experience in other kitchens so that they appreciate Silo more. Or someone just purely tried to put more effort to reduce the waste. And what I learned the most from the sustainability itself in this restaurant was appreciate their different talent and all their effort, and find what they are really good at it, and then nurture their ability and talents to support the next generation.